Plating 101 for a la carte is important. We have to have a plan. Without a plan, we can't execute. So the first thing we do is we have a plan. And the plan is, how does the food go to the plate? How do we organize this? Well, we think of the plate as a clock, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. We've set up an organizational system that allows us to put plated food down on the plate in an organized manner, time and time and again. Second choice would be also to keep it symmetrical. So I'm probably going to start with some leaves, like so. Leaves like this. I'll have my starch in the center. And then my proteins, in this case, will be scallop, a U10 scallop, on the plate like so. We'll then finish the plate with a garnish in the center, maybe some caviar, maybe some other things, and then lastly sauce the plate. The sauces have several functions. One is opulence, another is to recapture flavor within the cooking processes that were lost during cooking. The other one would be also to create an excitement or a counterpoint in flavor. So with that, we can start to design and put out a plate time and time again with great ease, consistency, continuity, so that our customer, when they come in, they have an expectation. That expectation is set. That standard is set. So, beautiful plate, nicely arranged. We have starch. In this case, our starch choice today was actually a corn bellini, which is a little bit different from the normal mashed potatoes, garlic mash or roasted potatoes. Right? We have a nice arrangement, very symmetrical. 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, everything's arranged nicely. We can then turn around with a little gentle saucing. We can place another type of green, a little microgreen salad on the top, like so. Beautiful beurre blanc. Now, how do I put the beurre blanc on? Well, it would be nice to put it in the alternate spots on the plate. One, so it doesn't cover the handiwork that you did when you're cooking the food, but it also adds an accent point on the plate separate from the actual food. So we're going to put a little bit of a nice opulent paprika sauce and finish up with a little bit of arugula pesto for a nice summer dish. And make sure our rim of our plate is always clean. And lastly, I think we'll top it off with a little bit of caviar. In this case, this is just a black Tobiko caviar. And there, we have a complete dish. What's important here is the organization. The organization can be repeated time and time again. With some ease and practice, you can definitely execute this style or this quality of cooking for your customer base. Our next approach would be, let's modernize the plate. Instead of going with a more traditional plate, we'll put it out in a more modern style. The style, we're gonna call it colonnade. We're gonna make it like a parade or a lineup. So we're gonna have a beautiful set of greens. In this case, we're gonna use pea vines, which are wonderful summer green, very seasonal. We're gonna put down some gnocchi that we've sauteed in the pan. We're gonna wilt the greens in a bowl with that and some black olive mix and olive medley. Then we're going to put down our 3 U10 scallops, like so, across the length of the plate, and then begin our saucing process after that. Has a different approach, different look. I've chosen different starch and vegetable matter for a slightly different look to the plate. The days of eating a 10-ounce or a 9-ounce serving of salmon or fish are long gone. People aren't eating in that manner anymore, but what we have to do is we have to make that quantity of food, which is approximately 5.5 to 6 ounces of cooked U10 scallop. We have to make it look like it has value, right? The best way to have value is to use really fine product when you're doing your plate-ups. And in this case, we're doing that. We're using the same exact materials within reason from the last plate that we just did, but having just a slightly different look. We use a nice long plate. We have our pea vines in the bowl. We took some olive medley and some citrus, and we're wilting the greens right there in the bowl. We're actually going to turn them, and then we're going to arrange down our greenery. In a lineup fashion. And just because it's in the bowl doesn't mean it all has to be used. What we're going to do is we're going to arrange our olive medley and gnocchi around the dish. Beautiful butternut squash gnocchi. Our U10 scallops go to plate. The other thing is, good methodology always wins. Poorly cooked food never wins. Nicely, appropriately cooked seafood, such in this manner, works great. If you look at it, you can see the opacity of the meat, which is an indicator that it's done. It's not overdone, it's not dried out. They're very juicy, and they're going to be a wonderful accompaniment to this dish. So we have that. Nice beurre blanc. And on this one, I'm going to take the opportunity to just run a little bit over the top of the protein, which is fine. Things fall over all the time when you're plating up, so it's a simple procedure. Just level it back off, find a place where it's stable. I like the microgreen touch because the microgreen gives it just a slightly different look with the other greens. It's lightly dressed. For a nice approach. What you have is you have a nicely presented plate, 3 beautiful seared U10 scallops over wilted greens with an olive mixture and gnocchi. Last approach. So we've been playing with seafood. We've done it in 2 different dinner presentations, but in the modern world, a lot of places now, a lot of restaurants today are doing taster plates. So items like a U10 scallop and such items for garnish work really, really well as taster plates. So I'm going to use the same elements again and illustrate just a small scale plate that can be served as an appetizer at the bar or even at the table. So we can actually break down entree plates to smaller versions in order to show off or highlight the menu to entice our customer into buying, well, what's the plan? To buy more food or to try more things when they come in for their experience, correct? So, I'm gonna go with a small 6-inch plate. I'm gonna use the pancake idea again. I'm gonna change my greens. I'm gonna alter my greens slightly. So I'm gonna probably go with some arugula, nice corn pancake, beautifully seared scallop on there. Probably on a little nest of microgreens, some black caviar, and then we're going to just sauce it with a couple lines of sauce on the plate. Done deal, completed plate. Okay? So let's go with that. Beautifully cooked pancakes. Just a small nest of wild arugula greens. Always makes for a nice plate. I'm going to add to that a little color on the plate so it has a little more life. I'm going to go with some small heirloom pear tomatoes. Try your best not to arrange. Just let gravity take care of the business, and try to get a nice even dispersal of your fruit or your vegetables on the plate. Choose that one. That one looks beautiful. Not quite yet. Need something to stabilize the fish on top. The other thing too is practicality. You want to make sure whatever you're putting down, your waiter, your server should be able to pick it up and move it 35, 40 feet without too much difficulty. I'm going to go with a little butter sauce again. Nice fat. Some paprika oil. Pesto. And a slight amount of caviar. And we have a nice taster plate for our customer base. Go. So get record of everything that you make. You guys have such an advantage. You have electronics on your team. It works great. It's immediate. You can actually see your efforts at the end of every plate. It's awesome. So what we have here is we have 3 different renditions of the same dish. One that's just an appetizer, more classic approach to plate up on a dinner entree service, and again a more modern kind of splayed out version of the scallop dish with some slight changes. Notice I didn't bury the dishes in salt. I didn't need to. I have other items that contain salt, so I can have the salinity factor I want without actually using salt. Olives in this case over here, caviar, vinaigrettes, other oils on the plate. All add flavor profiles to what we do. Are there any questions that you might have about what you've seen this afternoon. Yes?
What did you make the savory pancake out of, and why did you decide to choose that?
Savory pancake makes for a really nice alternate choice from, let's say, roasted fingerling potatoes or the ubiquitous garlic mashed potatoes or anything like that. So it adds also, everything on the plate's fairly soft. It adds a little more of a crunch to the plate as well. So when we're designing plates, we also have to think about the quality and the structure of the different textures that are there as well. So my choice was to go with a polenta or a corn-based cake that has a little more bite to it, but at the same time meets the need for a starch. Yes?
You said it was a specific type of gnocchi. What type of gnocchi was it, and why?
Today's gnocchi was a butternut squash gnocchi because it's the season. We're getting into the early fall. Butternut squash, acorn squash, they all make really good sense at this time. So what we did was we married roasted butternut squash in with a potato mixture, eggs, flour, and built our own gnocchi. And they're sufficing to make the starch accompaniment for that plate. And in combination with the salty olives, it works out really well.
Does it bring a sweetness to the olives, or does it just
No, I
calm
think
down the
I think it really
sourness?
produces sort of a neutral point of contact with the other foods on the plate. So I'd say the most neutral thing on the plate is actually the pea vine, followed by probably the gnocchi. The seasoning and the salt and the salinity come from the olive mixture with the citrus in there as well. That acidity helps with the seafood itself. The beurre blanc actually was a citrus-based beurre blanc. So all those flavor profiles come together on a plate in unison.
On the first two plates, you used the pea vine. What made you choose the arugula for the third plate?
Just wanted something different, something peppery. The pea vine is sweet, just like a string bean or a pea, right? With this one, I wanted a peppery profile, so I laid in a nice baby arugula, which has a really peppery strong aroma and profile to just offset the sweetness of the scallop, the saltiness of the caviar, and then the tomatoes. They're beautifully. They're just these little baby heirloom tomatoes that are sweet as ever. So I thought it'd be a nice combination to have those go together.
So when you talk about the clock system of plating, why do we use that system?
Good question. The way I look at it over my course of my career, the clock system always helped me out when I was doing, right? We did a demo with one plate. Imagine you're doing 65 of these a night. You're going to have a system to approach the plate, right, in order to get the plated food down to the plate in a timely manner, right, expeditiously from the stove with all your timings and maybe the 3 or 4 other things that you're doing at the same time. And this allows for you not to have to think anymore. By setting up the clock system, even your chef in the room can call out commands and say, and give you orders as to where he or she wants that placement to be on the plate just by using the clock